History is a very good way to keep track of records and their meanings of it. I mean, a lot of items that you can use in your everyday life have a lot of history to it. But as it may seem for those specific reasons, some items and media that you may not expect may have some history to it. Whether it be what, you may ask? Video games, movies, and lost media perhaps? Yes, it can definitely be those things, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So let us begin. So in order to understand the story and the history of these pieces of media, let us rewind the clock back to the 1940s, when World War II was still having a big effect on the world. World War II affected the whole world in a way that we can't fully understand, and one of those things has to be the Great Depression. Well, in the context of this video, the Great Depression was a rough time during the 1920s to the 1940s, specifically during 1929 to 1941. One of the most interesting things about the 1920s is that the animation and the movie industry really started kicking off, and that would be Pacific from years prior, like the original Felix the Cat cartoon that was dated in 1919. Easily made Felix the Cat one of the most recognizable cartoon characters of the 1900s and of all history. Or predate even earlier into the year 1918 of February 14th, 1918. But one of the things that came out a year before animation would jumpstart animation as we know it to this day. The Great Depression was when a gigantic hardship was found for tens of millions of people and a failure for large amounts of the nation's banks in America. This also included businesses and farms. But in the 1920s, in the year 1928, an animation from one man named Walt Disney would spark the industry of animation and make it much more popular as we know it to this day. And what would be this great animation that would go down into history? Well, it would be this. That's right. The year before the Great Depression would be the birth of Mickey Mouse. Walt Disney has gone on to say that actually part of the reason he created Mickey Mouse was because of the Great Depression. That and also Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. He stated that he saw people wanted to be entertained and he gave it to them through the form of Mickey Mouse. Therefore was the reason he created Mickey Mouse. Walt Disney would go on to create such iconic films like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Bambi, The Tortoise and the Hare, Robin Hood, and so much more. Disney today as a company may be very corrupt and a quote-unquote burning building. It is still great to see a studio that would inspire a generation of animators and make animation a more mainstream media to the industry and in our world today. Nintendo is a company that has made some of the world's most rejoiced games of all time, from the Super Mario Bros. To Zelda, to Metroid, to Mr. Game & Watch, to Star Fox, to Rhythm Heaven, and to Donkey Kong, just to name a few. But Nintendo has as much as popular franchises as much as they have remote franchises, and most of these game franchises are given their time to shine, and one of these franchises is the Pikmin series. This is their story, and the story of the creator, Shigeru Miyamoto. If you don't know who Miyamoto is, he is the creator of some of Nintendo's most popular series, including Mario, Star Fox, Donkey Kong, The Legend of Zelda, and of course, Pikmin, which first came out in 2001, where it would be a bestseller for the biggest Nintendo console at the time, the Nintendo GameCube. And one of the reasons it sold very well was because of the song that was released to be coincide with the game, and was actually the ending theme of the game. The song was called E no Uta by the popular Japanese singer Strawberry Flower. Nintendo also promoted the game by making their own plants. And what I mean by that is they would make their own breed of flower hybrids called the Bacoba Cabana. And it was also used to promote the game as well. As well as the song did, a second game was greenlit, and it would become a significantly less sold game than Pikmin 1. Pikmin 2 was released on April 29th, 2004, and Pikmin 2 would instead have an interesting point of story and development from the team. Miyamoto has stated in interviews that Pikmin 2 was solely based on a World War II film called Saving Private Ryan. It was stated that Pikmin 2 was based on this because Miyamoto felt he wanted the players to sympathize with the Pikmin, and this would give to prove a more inviting with the game. But while this benefited the game, it did not sell enough units for the system and for the game itself, which made Nintendo choose not to continue the series until July 13th, 2013, when Pikmin 3 came out, and it would become a smash success that brought back the Pikmin series outside of Nintendo's priority list. Pikmin will always be a beloved franchise by many people, and it is one of the most Pikmin will always be a beloved franchise by many people, and it is one of those franchises that, even though it did not become the next Super Mario, it still became iconic. While there are these examples of media having to be related to history, this just gives me the thought of one little question that goes across my mind. Doesn't this just mean that technically all media has some relationship with history? I mean, think about it. All of these pieces of media had to be created by someone. Things like Yu and Kazoo, which was contained by the long-form media at the time, the VHS tape, Parappa the Rapper, and its music that was a rhythm game, and Yokai Watch, which was even inspired by the ancient folklore in Japan from 794 to 1868 AD. Or even this, the original demo for the movie Shrek in 1998. Be warned, this is kind of cursed.
And I feel good. I knew that I would.
Media will always have something that can be found and be lost, like when the Wicked Witch visited Sesame Street, or the lost Mallow plush that was found from Mario RPG. Media like that has continued to be found because people care about it and its history. But you know, the oldest piece of media isn't of any story. It is more important than we know. It has been here since the beginning of time and will always be, and that is the Bible. And you know, that's alright with me. As someone who loves the Lord and supports everything that He does, it doesn't scare me at all, not one bit. Now, someone great said on the internet, we could all use a little bit more of that lock-on technology. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.